How to install Durock mortar and red guard. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Durock cement board, mortar the joints, then mortar and skim coat the walls, the entire surface for flatness, and then apply red guard sealant. So you see here the unknown mechanic is applying Durock to the walls, and he is using 1 5/8 inch Hardybacker screws. I prefer the Hardybacker over the Durock screws. So he is putting them in at a 8-inch square pattern, and it's 1 by 6 boards or 1 by 8 sheathing on the inside wall there, so it's easy to just screw anywhere. Normally it would be a studded framed wall, and you would have to screw it into the studs 16 inches apart. So anyway, he is going to continue screwing the wall together here. He has the upper piece going now, and you see that 2-inch band in the center. Each of those Durock sheets is 3 feet by 5 feet, so it's the perfect width for the side width of a tub, but it's a little bit short of the ceiling, and so you need to make a thin strip to go, a filler strip to fill that 2-inch gap between the upper and lower pieces. So now the unknown mechanic is going to use that board to finish cutting out the window. So he's just lining up the board with the rest of the window and using it as a straight edge with the carbide cutting tool. So he's measuring up to the top of the inside of the window and then transferring that measurement to the outside, draws a line, and now he's going to start scoring the Durock. That carbide cutter is a must-have tool for working with Durock or Hardybacker boards. Any carbide tools are your friend. So now he is going to just score it across the top and snap the piece out here in a second. And there you go. I do have a larger window ordered for that window. So now he is vacuuming out all the granular debris from cutting the Durock, and you want to constantly be cleaning and vacuuming out your tub because you do not want any of that sharp rock in the tub, because if you start walking around on it, it's going to scratch the tub, and nobody wants to have a scratched tub surface. The other thing is canvas tarps are your friend in the tub, and I have a couple of them there, and they are also folded over several times to get some thickness. You want to definitely have a soft pad in the tub. So now he is finishing screwing off the upper piece, and when he finishes that, then he will go and do that back wall there. So just continuing along here with fastening the Durock to the wall. We'll be changing scenes here in a second. Okay, so there you see the back wall has a piece of Durock on it now, and we cut it so that it would be a full-size sheet, 3 foot by 5 foot, and then there will be a short, about a 12 or 16 inch piece going on top of that to make it to the rest of the way to the ceiling, and then also a little piece down by the side of the tub. It's always good to have Durock on the side of the tub. So there you can see the new Danze shower valve is installed now, and we have all L-gauge copper. You see the blue there. So this is where the shower control head will be for the rope, and the hose will just hang from there and go up to the pull for the hand spray unit holder. So we got our plumbing here. See how we came up and around so that we can make room for this larger valve. There is the cold water going in. So everything worked out very nicely, very happy with it, and very, very solid. Very solid. So all I got to do now is put in a board here and a board here to support the handheld unit, and then I will put the last piece of Durock on. Okay, and it says my battery is too low. So, alright, let's get hopping. Okay, the rest of this video is blessed with a terrible hum, so I'm going to have to narrate. So, we've finished putting the rest of the Durock in the bathroom, and I still have to put a piece up on that sidewall there, and the bottom, that needs to have Durock sealing that. So the shower valve is in. The hand control is going to go from there up to there, and you see the water outlets for the tub spout and the shower head for the rope. So tomorrow we'll start mortaring all of this in. Right now I have to go to the garbage dump with a load of green debris. Okay, so we are going to start mortaring along the front edge of the tub there. So we have a shim there and a shim back here holding the tub in position, stable. And we want to mortar it in with it lined up properly. So what I'm going to do is try to apply the mortar to the bottom of the Durock and use hydraulic pressure from the trowel to force mortar as deep as possible into the wall between the tub and the Durock, and that will fill the void under the Durock and around the tub and between the framing, holding everything nice and solid in position. So you see how I load up the trowel with mortar and start applying it. So you just keep pressing the mortar in to the crack between the tub and the bottom of the Durock and filling that void. Very important to get as much mortar as you can worked into the joint, the crack between the tub and the Durock. So we just keep forcing it in there. And then when I have this set up, then I will swipe or screed across and flatten it out, and then we will apply some heavy duty nylon mesh tape. Okay, so let me clean the trowel off a little bit, and I'm going to make a pass across here to smooth out the mortar. Clean up the bottom just a little bit. And then make another pass across there. Okay, now let me grab the tape. And this is a tape that has mesh in it in two directions. There is the standard square pattern, and then it also has a diagonal pattern, so it's a much more solid tape. I don't use mesh tape for wallboard sheetrock, only for mortar. I prefer paper tape for sheetrock work. Okay, so I have the tape pressed into the mortar, and now we're going to screed it across. So the tape kind of dragged along with the trowel, so I got to pull the tape back into the corner a little bit. And then I'm going to hold the end of the tape into the corner with my 2 fingers and then screed across. And that will hold the tape in position. Okay, there you go. So one more little pass, and we will be set. And you pretty much use the same technique at all the joints. You can see the gap between the tub and the Duroc on that sidewall there. And if you're doing a fiberglass tub or a steel tub, they usually have a little bit of a lip around the rim, and you never put the Duroc or Hardybacker down into the tub over that. You always end the mortar or end the cement board, fiberboard on top of that rim, and then you fill it with mortar. And the reason you do that is if you put your mortar or if you put your Duroc or Hardybacker onto that lip of the tub, then it will cause a lift and you'll have an inward bend at the bottom going into the tub, and it becomes noticeable. So you want to avoid that and fill it with mortar and tape. So what I'm doing here is I'm mortaring that 2x6 on the sidewall and the piece of Duroc, and then I'm just going to lay that piece of Duroc and mortar it to the wall there because I don't have my angle screw gun with me. So I'm going to just mortar it in place just so that I can continue mortaring the rest of the project. There you see I'm mortaring things up here, and then I'll apply the tape to the corner. Okay. So when I get my angle impact ratchet, then I will screw that side piece of Duroc into the wall. And so that's what we got right now is we are just finishing up the, now I pulled out that shim that was there, and then I put a piece of tape in there to finish off that side of the tub. And I have the unknown mechanic is giving me pre-cut pieces, trying to speed things up. So we mortar fill, we pack the mortar into every joint, including that little piece going down the side of the tub, and that is going to help seal and protect the tub and the framing, the flooring from any water intrusion. And then we will also be applying red guard to that so that it will just seal up everything very nicely. And then it will also get tile going down there. I will need to finish the floor tile before I do the bottom pieces of tile on these little sections here because the wall tile needs to end on top of the floor tile. But I'm doing the wall tile first, except for those last 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 pieces on the bottom. Okay, so I am just spreading mortar out here on the sidewall. I probably should have cut that much out. Don't need to see that much. Anyway, I am moving over to the sidewall now, and you see the same technique being used there, where I am just forcing mortar into the gap between the tub and the bottom of the Duroc panel. And again, you want to pack that mortar in there real good. Use that hydraulic force action from the trowel. Then when you get it filled, you screed it across, flatten it out, lay some mesh tape over it, and then screed it into the mortar again. So there you see me going across there, cleaning it up. And then there's the tape, and I'm going to stretch that across there. I just stretch it across a clean part of the wall above to get the length, and then I take it off the wall above and put it in place down below. So this is the point where all of a sudden the volume on the video seems to have picked up a horrible hum, and I just cannot subject you listeners, viewers, to that hum. I'll leave just a minute of it in place, and then I will shut off the hum for that channel. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a second. Now you see me using a rectangular flat trowel, and the reason I'm using that is because I am doing a large flat area. So I use the flat trowel, and I can force a lot of mortar into that joint because of the design of that flat trowel. You see how I work it there into the joint. And then I can use flat trowel to spread the mortar all across that flat panel there, and that way I cover all the screws, the joints, the tape, everything, and it creates a nice flat surface over everything. And that's something that you want to try and achieve when you are doing a Durock wall with mortar on it, because when you skim coat the entire wall, you get a flatter surface, and a flatter surface means a more consistent, flatter tile job. So I'm going to just kind of keep on working here, and I will eventually cover the entire wall with mortar, and then we will do red guard over that. So there you can hear some of that nasty hum again. Okay, we are finished with mortaring in the walls around the tub. So we are going to tile, subway tile, 3x5 white subway tile all around, and then the floor is going to get 6x12 marble tile, and should look pretty good. I've done that same thing in other bathrooms, and it has worked out really well. So there you go. Skim coated everything so that now all the screw heads and tape joints and everything are flat at the same plane, the same level of surface, so you don't have any chance of having tiles wobbling. It's just always good to do that, and it also kind of helps with waterproofing the shower enclosure, and we are all for waterproofing shower enclosures. This will never ever leak. This is in for the duration. And there's the last little bit of Durock there. Ran out of mud to skim coat that, but there's no screws there, and so I'm just not going to worry about it. But there is the tub spout. Here is the connector for the hose for the handset, and then the handset will hang in this area here. So the handset is roughly from here up to there. It'll work out very nicely. Okay, it is time to get out of here and get some dinner. I barbecued some chicken last night. The whole chicken on the barbecuer, charcoal, tasted so good. And we also did some tri-tip steaks, so it was kind of like a 2-for-1 barbecue. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, and tomorrow we'll have tile. So cool, things are moving along. This is the current state of the bathroom right now. Got the tile substrate Hardybacker floor mortared down. There is red guard, moisture water barrier, and separation layer spread on the floor. We have the cast iron tub is in. Now what we're going to do is start to tile the entire tub surround. And we're going to do that with